It's the worst thing I've ever eaten. Oh, it's in my nose.
Here we go. Ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
Hi, everybody. I'm Zach Hurdle. Welcome to Scoville Scorchers. It's the talk where we burn our mouths while burning through hot topics, but hopefully don't burn bridges along the way. My very first guest, is Dr. Alan Parry. You know him as the chair of the math department. He's been here since 2016 and has a grand total of 4 degrees in mathematics. So, Alan, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How are you feeling? What's your level of comfort on spice?
Comfort on spice? I think I'm comfortable, but you told me that whatever I think it is, I probably am
it's
not.
Worse.
So,
Yeah.
So maybe not. little scared.
Everyone gets the concept of the show, right? We're just going to eat some wings, have a conversation, and ask some questions. Sound good? All right, ready for sauce number 1. This is Valentina's Black Label. The Black Label, they do a little more emphasis on the pepper, which seemed appropriate, so that's why I got it. We're at a level of 1,000 Scovilles. Let me get an extra sauce here. It's not enough. Let's do it.
Are you ready?
Cheers, my friend.
Cheers. Hey.
So, for people who don't necessarily know who Alan is, what do you do here? What's your role? What does a department chair even do?
You made me laugh.
Mm-hmm.
What does a department chair even do? When I figure it out, I'll let you know. But no, so I've been here. You said 6 years, right? That sounds pretty good. I like teaching math. I'm in the department chair in the math department, which basically means I keep the books, I guess, and try to make sure the department continues to run. So I do all the boring stuff so that the faculty members can do all the cool stuff, right? So it's a sacrifice. So when you're department chair next, you know what it's about.
What made you want to be a chair in the first place?
I'm trying to think of a chair pun, like.
So you can just sit around?
So I can just sit around. Everybody can sit on me. I don't know. Well, I don't know. I'm really excited about the possibility of trying to help UVU be the best it can be, and the math department be the best it can be. So looking at ways to solve problems is something that I think I'm reasonably decent at, and I wanted to do what I could to try to make things as best as possible, and felt that serving as chair could be something that I could do that in.
All right.
You gonna give me something spicy now?
I think that's enough of an intro.
Okay.
Let's go with number 2. Tabasco makes a Chipotle version of their sauce. So we're at a 2,000 Scoville level. So, here we go.
Yep.
Oh man, it's gonna suck in a minute. All right.
Better than regular Tabasco.
You think so?
Yeah, I don't like regular Tabasco.
Why not?
I don't know. It's kind of vinegary. It tastes more like all they're trying to do is make a sauce that's hot rather than a sauce that's good. But this was actually pretty good.
A sauce that's hot rather than a sauce that's good. Do you know what show we're doing? All right. Good. Considering that, if I looked at this right, you have a bachelor's in mathematics, a master's in mathematics, another master's in mathematics, and a PhD in mathematics. Do you like mathematics?
Well, yeah.
Okay, good.
Can I just say yes and hand you the microphone back? Yeah. So pontificate
and explain, yes.
Okay. So actually, it was kind of interesting. I was always pretty good at mathematics growing up. I really found it interesting. When I was a little kid, my dad was really into mathematics too, and actually had a mining engineering scholarship to the University of Utah. And he started attending there, but my mom got pregnant with my older brother and had some complications. So my dad actually dropped out of college to work full-time and to take care of her. So he never really got the experience to go and major in anything, but he had thought about majoring in math and really liked that stuff. So growing up, when I showed an interest in math, my dad would always, tell me sort of like the next thing that was coming up. I remember we were on a drive up to a campground one time, and I told him, I was like 8 or 9, we just learned about adding fractions. And so he taught me how to do multiplication and division of fractions in the car. It was really just sort of a fun little bonding experience and learn a little bit of math. When I was in 8th grade, He taught me what the derivative of a polynomial was and how to calculate it, and had no clue what in the world any of it meant. I could do it because it's a simple, it's a procedure, but I had no idea what it meant. I didn't even realize that's what he had showed me until like 7 years later when I started teaching it and taking calculus and stuff. But in high school, I tutored a lot as a job. So I tutored it. So I went to Clearfield High School. So any Falcons out there? Maybe not.
Woo!
Hey. And I tutored at Syracuse Junior High and at Clearfield High, and really enjoyed the teaching aspect. Got into it. Wanted to be a high school teacher for a while, but then realized I also wanted to have enough money to feed a family. So I decided to go the whole shebang and become a college professor.
So then, okay, so if mathematics is a big part of your life, what would you say to someone who doesn't find the relevance of math in their day-to-day?
That is a loaded question. You have 20 minutes? Maybe not.
I'm not doing anything else.
I guess that's the point, right? Actually, I find this a very interesting question. People ask this all the time about why do I need to know mathematics? And the catch is I think that you could ask this question about almost any subject. Why did you read novels and write about them in high school? What did it do for you? I mean, I read Tess of the D'Urbervilles. I could barely tell you the plot, except it's about some woman who gets raped or something. I mean, like that's all I got out of like what that is, besides having a cool tag title that I can make fun of. But what did I gain from actually reading those novels and writing about them? Well, what I gained is I learned how people write convincingly in creative ways by reading the book, to talk about social issues that are important, and by having to write about it, I learned how to make an argument that was a convincing rhetorical argument that would help people understand sort of what I might want to say, while also learning how to justify it with detail. So the skill that I gained in learning English was not reading books or writing about books. It was about how to argue and reason. And math is the same way. Like, just like it didn't matter like what book I read, in math, whatever math you're taking, what it's designed to do is to help you think logically and kind of get the counterpart to what the rhetorical reasoning does. If you have logical reasoning, then you can argue things from a more sound kind of even quantifiable basis, and base things on facts and details and stuff. And so you learn those kinds of things. So to me, I feel like everybody does math in their regular day-to-day life, but they're just expecting that when you do math, you're doing calculations. But what it really is you're thinking, whenever you think logically or try to solve a problem, that's math. That's what the math helped you learn as you went through it.
That's a good answer. So are you ready to move on to number 3 then?
Yeah.
So number 3, we've got the El Yucateco Caribbean. Habanero, I believe we already have habanero.
We're in habaneros already?
Yeah, that was a little early, wasn't it?
It's okay.
All right, let's do it.
Okay.
Okay.
No, whatever.
Cool. Yeah, I ramped this up pretty quick, didn't I?
That's got a little more of a kick to it. Yeah. He gave me a giant one for number 5.
Good. Maybe a lot of people don't know that you have your own YouTube channel.
Yes.
What kind of stuff do you put on your YouTube channel? What kind of things can students find there? Where is it?
Thank you for allowing me to give
a
little plug.
I got you a plug.
So my YouTube channel is called Scholar Sauce, and the purpose of it is to try to make math and science fun and relatable and enjoyable. And so there's a lot of different math content up there right now, but hopefully we'll expand, including other things. Those that might be familiar with the Crash Course series that Hank and John Green do, that you can find on Curiosity Stream, I noticed that they didn't have a lot of math content. So one of the things that I'm interested in doing is trying to create math versions, courses that in math that are kind of like that. So we'll do, I call it Smash Study instead of Crash Course, because you can't use the same term.
Yeah,
but
I wouldn't know about ripping off other shows.
I know, right? Totally. And so, but I'm starting a trigonometry one. It'll take some time to get them all out. But yeah, if you're interested, please check out Scholar Sauce and subscribe, like, all that stuff. This is on Scholar Sauce because I'm recording. I'm going to put it on there. So everybody watching this on the Scholar Sauce channel, if you don't already, please
like and
hit the like button, smash the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell or whatever.
What other things on YouTube? What other things do you follow? What kind of stuff you watch on YouTube? I watch YouTube all the time. I assume you do too.
Oh, okay. I guess it's slightly a weird mixed bag. I do watch some science content. Lately, I've been kind of following flat Earth debunkers a little, just not so much because of the flat Earth stuff, but I learn stuff when I listen to them about how they answer different kinds of questions. So I find that interesting. I also listen to a lot of political stuff. If you ever want to have a long political discussion, you can talk to me, but don't do it on campus because I can't do it as a representative of UVU or anything like that. But
Should we have a disclaimer?
Disclaimer or whatever, not opinions associated with UVU. And besides that, I also watch professional StarCraft and watch some videos of people playing Super Mario Maker. So
cool.
It's totally run the gamut of like everything you can think of.
All right. Let's move on to sauce number 4 then. The Heartbeat Pineapple Habanero.
Oh, it's pineapple.
Yeah, you're focusing on the pineapple.
I'm going to focus on the pineapple.
Right. All right.
This is number 4.
Yeah, maybe scoop a little bit of
Get a little of that extra sauce in there. Okay. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I like the pineapple. I can't tell if it has a bigger kick than the third one, though.
I think I still feel the other one.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that you're teaching in academia, I mean, you have for a long time.
Okay.
What do you do to compare and contrast against prior professors that you've had when you were going through classes? Like, what do you try to emulate? I guess?
Well, so one of the things that I think is really important when you're teaching is you have to be personable, relatable, and fun. And so I try to be as engaging as I can. And so I look at professors or teachers that I've had that I found particularly engaging and enjoyable and try to kind of lean into that stuff. Sometimes not all the way. I had a calculus teacher in high school that never wanted anybody to say stupid or dumb. And if you ever said that in class, he would chalk up an eraser and throw it at you. I don't go that far. I tried once. It was not good. But
let me write down some ideas that my boss is giving me. All right.
But, also sometimes I think, you learn about things that don't work too, right? I mean, I've had professors that stood up and opened the textbook, literally read the textbook and wrote the textbook on the board. And so that was a completely worthless class. So when I'm trying to teach, I want to make it worthwhile, something more than what they just get from a textbook. And so I kind of, try to pick the good things and withhold the bad, get away from the bad.
What was the hardest thing you had to do to when we had to go like remote online and things like that? How was that adjustment for temporary?
Well, I think the hardest part was just the speed with which we had to do it. It was nice that we had, we went online at UVU during spring break, so we did have like a week to kind of get everything up and running. But to do everything that I wanted to do to make good live streaming videos that didn't disrupt the way I normally teach much, I had to acquire a bunch of equipment from Amazon and stuff. So I bought a bunch of things that came pretty early, and I swear the computer I was using at the time just hated every microphone that I tried to purchase, and nothing I did would make the microphones work. No. It was one of the most frustrating computer problems I ever had, and the clock's like ticking down until the day I have to actually do it. Finally, I figured it out. Had to buy a whole. So the problem was my computer has a headset jack, but the headset expects both a speaker and a microphone, and it couldn't just read a microphone thing. So I ended up having to get a splitter that split the headphone and the microphone jack off. Mm-hmm. And I still use that today. So, it worked though. So I guess that's the thing.
I remember at the time I was living in a dorm and I had to take, I did these like videos. I didn't have a studio. I didn't have anything. I couldn't find anyone because everyone just disappeared. And I was doing videos like in elevators. I was doing videos on rooftops. I was doing videos on the disc golf course. Not because I just wanted to play disc golf, but so it was like a really weird adjustment.
Wait, before you go on. So I do want to give a little shout out to my wife. She was nice enough to allow me to bolt a whiteboard up to my downstairs office permanently. It's still there. If you watch my Scholar Sauce channel, now I get to put a little plug, you'll see me use the whiteboard there. That's the one that my wife let me bolt downstairs. So it's good.
All right.
This is the biggest chicken nugget that's on my table.
I'm glad.
Number 5.
I'm very glad. Number 5 is the Hotter Than L Ghost Sauce. Yes. It's got a Grim Reaper on it. I think a lot of these have
ghost peppers in it?
I think a lot of these have Grim Reapers on them. That's probably a bad sign.
So does this actually have ghost pepper in it?
I think so, yeah. I'm pretty sure.
It says shake well. Did you shake well before you put it on?
I don't know. You want to put some more on it?
No, I'm okay. Are you going to put more on?
Put a little bit more on.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, okay, fine. We'll put a little more on. Give everybody something to look at, I guess. Mine has a lot of sauce on it already.
Yeah.
That was on purpose. So do I need to put a little extra on? Should I put a little extra on? That was a dumb question.
It was mine. Didn't have any on the top, so I just thought I would.
Okay.
Yours, yeah. Okay. Can I change my mind
You can't change your mind.
about the
You
entire
just
idea?
made me put
About the entire
about the
idea.
whole idea. You just made me put a whole bunch more sauce.
All right, here we go. Mine's kind of big too.
What's with this? It's like
What's going
number
on,
5,
Tag?
biggest
Yeah.
chicken nugget.
Great.
Hey, here we go.
Are we gonna do this whole bite thing on the last one? Is that the idea?
I feel like this is going to sneak up on me like the Grim Reaper.
Yeah.
Because so far it wasn't that bad. There was a lot of hype for nothing, right? I'm starting to feel it now.
I think I'm okay. I think I'm okay.
I think I'm doing pretty good. If we gotten through number 5, I haven't even opened up a water bottle
Do you
yet.
want to?
A little bit.
I'll do it if you do it.
I'm going to go for number 6. Let's go.
Okay.
Ask a question.
Number 5. What's the most recent research you've been part of, or can you explain some of the ideas quickly to the casual student, not to get like bogged down? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So this actually related to the question you asked earlier about why do we learn math a little bit. So one of the things that I've noticed so a few years ago in the math department, we rebuilt the math major curriculum. And in doing this, I kind of started looking at sort of what we were doing and comparing it to what other people were doing, and realized that everybody has this just overwhelming emphasis on calculus and analysis. And I started thinking about what the implications of that were. For example, like in our math major, we have something like, I think it's 8 or 9 required calculus and analysis classes, like 3 or 4 required algebra classes. I'm talking like modern algebra, abstract algebra, and no required geometry. Yeah. So it's kind of a weird thing. And then in the math ed major, they're much more even. They have 1 of each. So it's kind of an interesting. Got to get a little napkin.
You got a runny nose?
I'm feeling that one. And so, it started making me think about like, what are the implications of this? And if we're emphasizing calculus so much, what it ends up doing is it forces the K through 12 system to prepare people for calculus. So the whole K through 12 system is designed to just fast track someone to calculus as quickly as they can, which is why we end up having to go to a more algorithmic approach rather than a mathematical understanding approach. And we're trying to combat that in different ways with things like the new ideas like Common Core or whatnot are trying to combat those issues. But the problem is that where there's still this overwhelming pressure to get to calculus. So everything is just fast tracking there. And then, of course, most students, we tell them to stop doing math in college algebra, the class just before they get to calculus, so they never learn what it was for in the first place. Mm-hmm. So I started thinking about this a little bit, and I realized that the reason why the math major requires so much calculus is because calculus is basically the only thing that's required at the graduate level. So if you really want to fix this, you need to change it all the way down, almost from top down, so that you remove the pressure, and then there's changes that are available.
So you're trying to overthrow the system.
So I'm trying to overthrow the system.
Cool.
So I'm working with a former UVU student, Daniel Havens, to do a research project to look at. We're looking at the top 100 undergraduate colleges, top 100 graduate schools in math, to see what they actually require, to see if my hypothesis, my guess of what everybody's requiring, at least what's been my experience, is actually true. And then trying to say, make a suggestion that maybe if we moved away from that, we could focus on things that help people understand math a little bit better, rather than just forcing them to learn how to calculate stuff for a class that they'll never actually take or use.
Okay, so that's like more of like a curriculum math education type of project. What about something that's more pure mathematics? Yes.
Okay, so a little more pure mathematics. In student terms, I just published a paper.
In my terms.
In your terms.
Yeah,
in your terms.
Thanks.
So one of the other branches of math that I study is called differential geometry, and I almost feel like just saying that is breaking the rules. But it's called differential geometry, but it's the language that general relativity was written in. So it talks about basically calculus on a curved space, and Einstein's idea was that massive bodies curve space-time, and so understanding how the space-time is curved and the geometry of that tells us how things move. And so it's fundamentally based in this kind of stuff. And what my graduate thesis project was trying to apply this to the dark matter problem to try to support a possible explanation for dark matter that uses a scalar field inside. A scalar field is just a function. It's a physics term for it. Mm-hmm. Anyway, So my most recent
Did you see
project
the lack
in
of
that,
recognition
I know,
in
I
my
know,
face? Yeah,
I saw it,
great.
I saw it.
Yeah.
My most recent foray in this just got published in January in the Canadian Journal of Physics. One of the approximations to the equations that govern that are called the Poisson-Schrodinger equations. And I did some numerical analysis stuff to show that certain initial conditions are kind of related to each other and that you can glean some information without necessarily having to actually calculate out a whole bunch of solutions.
So shortcuts.
Shortcuts. That's
the
basically
best deal.
that's what it was.
We're halfway through.
Halfway through.
Okay.
Woo! Still alive.
First 5 down.
I'm scared of the back 5.
Why? Just because the color and the labels look worse and worse?
Do any of them have black garlic? Tell me about that. Carolina Reaper.
Yeah. Again, I don't know if I did that earlier or not. That's out of Houston. Bravado companies out of Houston, and they make a lot of awesome.
I think I just got sauce on my finger.
Like a lot of unique things. Like I have a blueberry ghost pepper one at home.
Okay. Oh yeah, I think I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. So number
6.
Right, number 6.
70,000.
Yeah, we're at 70,000. I think that this is our what should we call picture this segment? Where we have a few images that we're going to show of Alan Parry and get some further background about what's going on with that.
I want to know where you got pictures.
It's nothing crazy. I'm not going to show something from college that I don't want to know about or whatever.
Do I eat first?
Oh, that's what you did.
Eat first?
What's going on with that? I guess the question is what's
going on with that? This is a great question. I like this. Right. I'm going to get this really lather this one.
I'd forgotten briefly about the Reaper aspect. Great. Bad idea. Yeah.
I got to say, I actually really like that flavor.
No, you don't.
I do. Actually, it's pretty good.
What about now? I'm okay. I'm okay as a single tear goes down my face.
I can feel the sweat beating on my cheeks.
Yeah. So, can we explain that picture while we got some heat going on? Oh, we're busting out the water.
You want to go?
I mean, I will if you do. It's up to you.
It's up to me. So wait. So I can make you suffer by suffering myself?
I mean, I'll probably do it later if I want to, but I will wait for you. Kind of a big decision.
Okay, I'm going to be macho.
Okay.
I'm going to try it without it. Hey, that picture was actually really, really fun. And since this is the midterm election year, it kind of is a little relevant here.
You want to say what the picture is?
Yeah. So as it's passing around, this is a picture of me and Dr. Bob Pellet in a debate in that auditorium over there about which is the better circle constant, pi or tau. It's really hitting me now. I'm going to go for the water. I'm giving in.
It's pretty hot.
Wow.
Just like I can just see it beating down the bottle. Like it looks so good.
There's ice there too.
I know. I know.
It's just a little harder to talk.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah. So to give some context to this, most people are familiar with pi. Pi is the ratio of a circle's circumference to its diameter. And it's a universal constant, and that's getting worse. Mm-hmm. I can feel it really bad now. That's getting hard.
Hey, that's number 6.
That's number 6. That's number 6. Okay, yeah. It's all good. It's all good. Okay, and people have used this circle constant forever. Now, the argument is that the more fundamental object in a circle, instead of being the diameter, is the radius. And so what we should do is look at the ratio of the circumference to the radius, which equals 2 pi, or relabeled as tau. And before I got to UVU, I watched a couple of YouTube videos about this and was like totally convinced that tau is way better as a concept. It just, it seemed to work a lot better. And so when I got here in 2016, it was the presidential election year, in the election between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. Again, we can't talk about politics, right, disclaimer.
Next.
But anyway, I thought it would be a great idea to have a debate and argue about pi and tau. And at the time, I wanted to argue for tau. I did not realize that the person who started the modern argument for tau was Dr. Bob Pillay, who's a former member of our department and was the associate chair here at the time. When I found this out and realized...
Don't get mad at the wings. They didn't do anything to you.
When I found this out and even saw that he was cited in some of the YouTube videos that I had seen, I was like, well, we have to include him. But the problem, of course, is that his argument was for tau, which was the side I wanted to argue. So I can't argue for tau if I have like the father of the tau movement here. But I still wanted to do it because it sounded fun. So I was like, okay, it's okay. Bob will do tau, and I'll argue for pi. Well, if you're going to argue in a debate, you've got to study and stuff. And so I started researching what makes pi better than tau, and in researching it, completely convinced myself in reality that pi is considerably better than tau. And so totally flip-flopped on it. Don't vote for me. I guess I'm a flip-flopper. Again, no politics. But and so we had this debate, and I totally crushed Bob in that debate in 2016. We had a... he's not here to defend himself.
That's what I was thinking.
We actually ran an election. We got Pi T-shirts and Tau T-shirts, and we ran an election. Every student who wanted one could come and get a T-shirt, but they can only select one. And whoever gave out the most T-shirts was the winner, and Pi beat Tau by about 2 votes. So it wasn't a landslide or anything.
Like crushed him by 2 votes.
Crushed him by 2 votes.
Right.
This picture is actually a picture of us doing it again in 2020 during the pandemic. And I crushed him worse. I think I had like 70% of the vote on this one. We streamed both debates, if you're interested, can be found on not on Scholar Sauce. I have a older YouTube channel that's my name, Alan Parry. You just look that up, and both of the debates are on there. So if you're interested in watching me crush Bob, have fun to do it. Bob's going to watch this. He's going to be really, really mad at me.
That he's not here.
That he's not here to defend himself.
All right, I got another one for you.
Okay.
Because we usually have 3.
Is this all part of question 6?
This is all part of question 6.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What do you want?
How much is this a real lesson, and how much is this just being cool and staging a picture? I mean, I recognize a few people in there. I could ask them. But.
It's a little of both. Okay. It's a little of both. It is staged. I mean, in the sense that we were looking to get a picture for it. This is a College of Science photo shoot to try to get some pictures that were interesting. But in order to prepare for it, I brought a whole bunch of 3D printouts or whatever. And when I got there, I realized that a lot of the students were just interested in what I had to say. So we figured the easiest way to do it is just to have me talk about something cool in math, and they just take candid pictures as they went.
So these are actual interested faces.
I hope so.
Okay, good, legitimate.
I'm definitely not acting in here. So what I'm teaching about in here is about we basically went through and proved that on a sphere, the straightest possible lines are great circles. Those are circles on the outside of the sphere that have the same diameter as the sphere. And if you draw a triangle out of these, that's the kind of triangle that you would draw on a sphere if you were like a small object that lived on it. So if you try to draw a triangle on the surface of the Earth, you actually draw a great circle triangle without even realizing it, because it's the straightest possible line you can draw that's on the surface. And what this does is it proves that the angle sum of a triangle on a sphere, if you add up the 3 angles, is always greater than 180 degrees.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, I'm working on a YouTube video on this one too. So you're really letting me plug my channel a lot.
No problem.
Here.
That's what I'm here for.
To explain this exact idea. Yeah. Now, one of the things that's interesting, when I got here, I thought it'd be a really great engaged learning project to go to the Bonneville Salt Flats and try to build a triangle that would be big enough where you could actually detect the angle sum being larger. And I thought, you have to make it big enough that the difference is within our measurability or whatever. And so I tried to figure out, just as a back of the paper, back of a napkin. Yeah. A calculation of how big of a triangle would we have to draw to get a 1 degree larger angle sum. So a triangle on the surface of the Earth that has 181 degrees in it instead of 180 degrees. And I found out that the triangle would have to have a surface area equal to the state of Texas, and realized probably can't do that.
Very nice. My last picture is, looking pretty fly in that picture. I need to know what is up with that.
Hello, my name is Professor Alan Parry, with my really absolutely horrid professorial British accent. Actually, so this is off of a YouTube channel, a YouTube video as well.
All right.
You really nailed this.
You're
It's
welcome.
good. It's good.
You're welcome.
If you haven't yet, please like and subscribe.
Did you smash the like button? Gosh.
So this picture here is part of that SMASH study series in trigonometry that I mentioned earlier. I wanted to try to make a kind of silly opener, and so it opens with me in this suit here. My wife and I, we actually bought the fedora for a date to go on the Heber Creeper, and they do like a 1920s murder mystery on it.
And you kept it.
And well, so we bought all the stuff for it, and then they canceled our trip. And so like we didn't get to do the murder mystery. So I just have this cool
outfit in your
well, the
closet.
3-piece suit came from my dad. I just already had that.
All right.
It's pinstripe too. You can't really tell it in here. So it totally
Extra
makes it look like a used car salesman. But but the fedora was awesome. I actually like fedoras because if you all know Parry the Platypus, you know, shout out for Parry the Platypus, right? I'm Dr. Parry the Platypus, if you want. Okay, so I got a fedora, Dr. P. Anyway, so my YouTube channel opens up with this guy in a really lousy British accent, the one I just did. That's absolutely horrible.
I mean, I wasn't going to judge.
I just want to make sure
Just in here.
people don't know that I don't actually think that it's a good one. And then basically I kick this guy out and do the YouTube video in a different shirt. So yeah, but
Great.
it's
Which
pretty
makes
good.
you cooler. A different shirt.
I hope it makes me cooler. I don't have the fedora on anymore though, but I do talk about Brian May and Queen. So
All right. That's all I got for those.
Number 7.
Let's move
Okay.
on to number 7, which is one of my favorite names of a hot sauce. It's out of Australia. It's actually kind of harder to get, but we got it. It's the 13 Angry Scorpions Jekyll and Hyde. 109,000.
Oh my gosh, wasn't the last one like 70,000?
Yeah, I just thought I should increase it.
Okay,
Right. So
I'm gonna run out of napkins. All right, here we go. Lather that thing up
yeah, I mean, you're sweating a little.
bit.
Okay, that's
Okay,
cool.
here we go.
I actually haven't had this one before.
Again, I really like that flavor.
I didn't want to eat stuff that tasted bad. Oh, there it is.
I can feel it. Definitely feel it.
There it is.
Should have chewed longer. I think I might
Is
have
it better to chew longer or just like
I
swallow
think
it?
it keeps more stuff in your mouth, so you feel it more. But if you swallow it, maybe all that stuff just goes down into your digestive tract and everything's bad.
We'll be okay now, just not later.
Just not later.
Right, okay. Just kind of a general question.
I'm okay.
Great. So with any conferences or all the different universities you've been at or other places you've lived, whatever, what is give us a appropriately wild or funny or just generally interesting story about people you've met in academia that you can share?
About people that I've met in academia.
So just a funny story, yeah. Whatever you want to.
Funny story about people in academia.
Mm-hmm.
Because a bunch of math professors walk into a bar.
Not a joke. I don't need dad jokes right now.
I'm not sure if it gets really that funny. I can tell you.
Or wild.
So
or
I'll tell you a disappointing story.
Okay, that is.
If that's okay. That's kind of the opposite of what you're saying.
Good.
But it came to mind when you said it. That's actually about a physicist.
Okay.
I
will take your funny story and make it depressing. Is that what you're saying?
I'm trying to think of a really good funny one.
Just go with the disappointing.
But I'll tell you a funny story that's not about an academic, but is about some students. So I'll follow it up with a funny story about students.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Yep.
Okay, so the disappointing story. Never meet your heroes. That's the moral of this story, okay? So when I learned general relativity in grad school, we read it out of a book called General Relativity, written by Robert Wald. And now I've name dropped him in this video, and he's going. And I feel bad. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should. I'm going to blank that out. Maybe I shouldn't have name dropped him.
Yeah.
He is an amazing physicist. Like, the book that he wrote is just incredible. I mean, if you've ever read it before, it's incredibly readable, and the explanations are clear. I mean, it's a great textbook. It's one of the better textbooks I've ever read. And so when I had a chance to go to a conference where I found out that he was going to give a lecture, I was like super excited because I get to meet this guy who wrote this just awesome book. And so I get there, I'm super stoked to get into the, I mean, most math talks can put you to sleep, I'll be honest. I've probably put people to sleep multiple times
No,
in my
it's never
talks.
happened to me.
People fall asleep in department meetings all the time.
Also not me.
That's why you do it on Teams, right? So you just mute yourself and turn the video off.
Teams is a great invention. Yeah.
But anyway, so I go to this talk. I'm super stoked, really excited to meet Robert Wald. And he gets up there to give his talk, and he pulls up his slide, and I kid you not, it is 12-point font, completely dense. Like the entire slide is packed with just like 4 or 5 paragraphs of just this 12-point font. And he stood there and read it. And
is that like the opposite of what you just said earlier?
Yeah. And I feel bad saying this because I had lunch with Robert Wald afterwards, and he is an amazing person. He's a really, really cool guy. Super, super nice.
You said it again.
I said his name again. It's okay. I said his name multiple times here. I feel bad. Whatever. He'll email me and complain about it. I'm sure he doesn't even care who I am. So, I mean, he's written a cool book that makes lots of money. I'm just some random dude in Utah. I mean, they don't care. But anyway, it did bring up. I just remembered a kind of funny story that kind of follows up with this, because so my PhD advisor, his name's Hubert Bray. I'm name dropping people all over the place, and this is okay. His advisor, when he was going to, I think actually it was when he was a postdoc. This story comes from, and he was talking to his advisor about whether or not they were going to go to the colloquium talk that afternoon. And so he asks his advisor if he is, and his advisor says, well, I don't know, it depends on how sexy the title is. And so they go and they look at the title to see how sexy it was or whatever, which the math definition of sexy is probably not the same as the regular person's, but anyway.
No.
But what that made me realize was that if you want to give a good talk, you have to not only have a super catchy title, but like your slides should be really interesting too. So I try to give a talk, and so I'm going to plug my channel again.
This is not intentional.
Not intentional. On my Scholar Sauce channel, you can find a talk by me called A Pictorial Introduction to General Relativity, and I try to use almost nothing but pictures in my slides to explain. But I try to give a whole bunch of really cool talk titles too. Like I have one talk called "The Cat in the Hat is a Little Abstract." It's about category theory, hence the cat. That's a little complicated, right? Manipulation, Lies, and Elections is a talk I gave on politics and voting theory a few years ago. Anyway, so like trying to find fun topics and stuff. I won't tell the story about the students unless you really want me to, because we're running out of time.
Let's do number. What are we on?
We're on number 8.
Dave's Gourmet Insanity Sauce. I hear bad things about this.
So far, I gotta say, as much as I just coughed, I'm slightly underwhelmed.
Oh man, we were gonna say that. Okay,
it's not gonna happen.
Good luck
after this.
This is 180,000 Scovilles. So let's get to it.
Okay, here we go. 180,000. I said slightly.
You put a lot on this one.
I know. Okay, getting it in there.
Whatever.
Okay, get in there. This one's gonna kill me.
It's gonna suck.
I'll chew this one a little longer. Oh wow. It was not a good idea to chew longer.
Ooh.
I'm slightly whelmed now.
That is uncomfortable. Yeah.
I'm definitely whelmed. That one definitely spicy, not as tasty as the
Doesn't
other.
taste very good.
No.
Oh god. We're good. Okay. Oh, it's right there. This is great.
I can feel it in my throat.
Okay.
I can feel it in my throat too.
So this seems like a really good time to ask the philosophical. Is mathematics created
or
is it discovered? You talk.
You're not going to believe this, but I have a YouTube video about this.
I'm going in, man.
That one was so much worse than the one before.
I told you they hit different. If I didn't cough it into my throat.
We have milk over here too. I'm trying to decide if I want to switch. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Created or discovered.
My body's rejecting it. the worst thing I've ever eaten. Oh my gosh.
Are you overwhelmed now?
I'm definitely overwhelmed. I went from underwhelmed to like, holy crap. There's 2 more after that?
Yeah.
I have something to say too. Okay, so is mathematics discovered or invented? Oh, can I just refer them to my YouTube channel and call it quits?
No.
Okay, so I'm going to answer with a question, but I'll answer the question too, so you don't have to answer it. Because I know you don't want to talk right now.
I'm
fine. That hurts.
I'm good.
Did Thomas Edison invent the light bulb, or did he discover a way to use natural laws and natural properties of things that if you organize them in a particular pattern and send an electrical current through them, that it would produce light? See, the thing is, there's nothing about what Thomas Edison did that made the light bulb produce light. That configuration of materials with electricity passing through them would have produced light 6 million years ago, long before Thomas Edison ever conceived of it. So did he actually invent it in the sense of like, did he create something that had never been created before? Or did he just make a discovery about the way certain things work and put them together to use those things to his advantage? So to me, I would argue that the question that you're asking is actually a bad question, because invention is a type of discovery. So is mathematics invented or discovered? Since invention's a subset of discovery, it doesn't matter. It's discovered, because even when it's being invented, it's discovered. But to be fair, are you doing okay?
I'm fine.
But to be fair, when somebody comes up with, say, like a set of axioms or whatever, and this is the thing I want to talk about, yeah, that is a novel idea, and they should be celebrated for the fact that they came up with something cool, that it worked. But those axioms together and all the consequences of them, any theorem that you could prove from them or whatever, that stuff was true before they thought of those axioms. It's true afterwards. Nothing they did brought that truth into existence. It was already there. So even when they're trying to prove something new or create a new system, you're really dying over here.
I'm okay.
Even whenever they're trying to create any kind of new system or whatever.
Got a little sweat going on.
I do. They're still just discovering things that were already there before. So like the truth is there, mathematicians discover it, and yeah, they might invent new ideas along the way, but that's just, again, taking advantage of properties that things have in order to use it to your advantage. It's still a type of discovery. So in that sense, invention is discovery, so everything's discovered. Even when it's being invented, it's being discovered.
There we go. So that was pretty hot. Number 9 is the probably.
Did you see that jump in Scovilles? Did you see that?
My
was
favorite
180.
pepper
6'9".
company name that possibly has ever existed, Pucker Butt, which is the best. Another one with the Grim Reaper on it.
I am terrified.
This is the Chocolate Plague, which doesn't mean there's chocolate in it. It's a brown hybrid from a Reaper or something like that. I forget, and so they call it.
So like a chocolate Reaper,
basically. It comes in at 690,000. And it's out of South Carolina. Pucker Butt is awesome. It gets sauces from there. This is going to be terrible though, but Pucker Butt's pretty great. Yeah.
I'm very overwhelmed now. It only took one nugget to go from underwhelmed to overwhelmed, but yeah. You got to rub this around too?
There's a lot on this one. Jeez. Okay, here we go.
I hope I didn't have sauce on my neck. My neck's going to like on fire. Cheers?
Yeah, we can do it.
Here we go. We got this.
We're going to have to eat the whole thing. All right. So, let's do a quick word association.
That one's not particularly tasty either.
Let's go fast on this just to get people to know you.
Hey, can I take a drink first?
I'm going to just give you favorite whatever, and you tell me what you like off the top of your head. Okay? Yep. Here we go. Favorite sports team?
San Francisco 49ers.
Favorite TV show?
The Orville. Oh, it's in my nose!
Favorite band?
Queen.
Favorite video game?
Final Fantasy 4.
Very specific. Favorite book?
Oh, that's tough. For word associations, I'm reading Ender's Game right now. It's a good book.
Cool. Okay. Favorite movie?
Star Wars Episode 5. Empire Strikes Back. Yeah, it's a good one.
Favorite sauce on this lineup?
The pineapple one was really good.
Shout out to, which one is that? I forgot.
Heartbeat.
Yeah, Heartbeat.
That was pretty good.
All right. We're good? Let's go to the last one, number 10.
Watch this. This milk tastes terrible. I think it's what's in my mouth. But like the mixture of the milk and the sauce is just not good.
Yeah. Yeah, it says 2.5 million plus. I don't know. I don't know what that, like, what does that mean? It's like more than that.
It means we're going to die.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's tradition on the show to put a little extra on the last wing.
Is that
you don't have to if you don't want to, but there are people here.
And they will judge you if you don't.
This is the Last Dab Apollo. This is by Heatonist, which actually is the show the Hot Ones, does.
I want everybody to know that Tag gave me 2 nuggets on this one.
They're small nuggets.
Is it bad enough that the hot sauce already absorbed into the thing?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm dying here. I'm not sure I want to do this. But I'm going to because I'm only 1 sauce away from that glorious trophy. Oh, my gosh.
I got some bread.
Does that actually work?
All right. So, ready?
No.
Great. A rounding no. So here we go. Let's do it. Cheers, my friend. Oh, man. That is unpleasant.
That didn't even taste good.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
I feel like this is a good time
Oh my gosh.
to prove something. There's a whiteboard behind you. Can you please show me why is pi a better number than tau? In like 2 minutes. Go for it. You want to hold this or something? Yeah.
I'm not sure I can talk. I'm just kidding. It's not that bad. I mean, it's bad. Let's be honest. Why is pi better than tau? I have to compose myself a little. They're tears of joy. So I think maybe the most convincing part, perhaps, would be to maybe look at a couple of functions here. So let's look at sine and tangent of x. And take a look at their periods. So they're both, so trigonometric functions are I can't think of the word because my mouth's on fire. Periodic. And so they repeat themselves after a certain amount of time. And the shortest distance in which they repeat themselves is called the period. Now, the period for...
Is that normally something that takes you a while to remember?
No. So, in pi land, the period of sine of x is 2 pi, and the period of tangent is just pi. If you shift to tau world, the period for sine becomes tau, which is one of the reasons why people like it, but the tangent of x becomes tau halves. So you can see that you trade an integer multiple of pi for a fractional multiple for tau. And in fact, if you write out all the main properties of the 6 trig functions, I am sweating up a storm up here.
I can tell.
If you write out all the main properties of the 6 trig functions in both pi and tau, you will find that the number of, like the total number of things you might find is like 24 different cool properties, like where the zeros are, what's the period, that kind of stuff. And the number of fractions in pi land is like 20% of them have a fraction in it. When you shift to tau land, it's like 70% of them have fractions in it. So if you wanted to shift to using tau in trigonometry class, you suddenly have to remember a lot more fractional multiples of tau than integer multiples of pi. So one of the arguments I made against Bob was if you vote for tau, you're really voting for more fractions in your math diet. I think that may be the one that maybe resonates the most with people who don't know a lot about pi and tau. There are pros and cons to both. And in fact, to be fair to Bob, Euler, when Euler first started talking about these things, he actually would interchange between using pi and tau, and he'd even use the same symbol for them. He would just, in each paper, he'd say, this is what I'm going to use for this one.
Okay.
This is what I'm going to use for that one. And so he would flip-flop back and forth whichever one was more convenient. That's the one he would use. And so in all my discussions with Bob, I think that's probably the most salient point that you get out of it, is that some situations tau works better, in some situations pi works better, but the real
We're all fine here now.
but the real takeaway from it is that we totally lost my train of thought. The real takeaway from it is the idea that just because we say something works a certain way in mathematics, there may be better ways to describe that phenomena. And so how we describe it or how we talk about mathematics is as much a conversation in how do we communicate as it is in how does stuff work. And so realizing that there's a lot of communication involved and writing involved in good mathematics, as much as there is calculation or understanding how something works, is an important point. And I think that's the pi versus tau debate illustrates that more than anything else.
Alan, you made it through 10 sauces like a champ. I'm going to present you with this Scoville Scorcher Survivor Award from the College of Science. So if there's anything, I'm going to roll out the carpet for you to talk about anything you want. You've already done enough plugs. I feel like that's enough of that, but we'll do what you want. Anything you feel like talking about, this is your stage.
If you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. This was actually really, really fun. In the moment, it was really, really bad. I think it's kind of starting to taper off a little bit now. I got to say, I think I was better prepared for it than I expected.
Right.
But so that was good. But no, this was super fun. I hope everybody from this can see that, if anything else, realize that your UVU faculty are regular people, and we try to be cool as often as we can. We try.
Yeah.
And we're approachable. We're people that you can just talk to. So never hesitate if you have stuff that you're struggling with in a class. Go talk to your teacher, your professor. They love talking to you. Every faculty member at UVU that I know would be interested in talking to their students about stuff. Even if it's not about your class, if you just want to know something that's cool, go talk to them. They love that kind of stuff. And so, if anything that this series does is I hope it humanizes us a little bit and hopefully makes you guys feel more comfortable talking to us about crazy stuff. And we have a lot of cool things to talk about, as hopefully you saw here, and a lot of goofy stuff too. But anyway, thanks.
Yeah, it's monthly.
Yeah.
Monthly. We're going to do this monthly.
We're going to do this monthly. So next month, I believe, is he here? Is Danny Horns here?
I don't think so.
Oh, he was here earlier? So Dean Danny Horns is up next month. So it'll be great. Zach's going to interview him. Poor Zach gets to do this every month.
Yeah. That's it, guys. Thank you. We're good. We did it.